Ultra Games is just gonna keep trudging along ahead bold as brass to be one of the most stubborn NES developers of the whole lot. Apparently, since Metal Gear hadn't been sequelized fast enough, Konami brought in the port makers of Metal Gear NES and just handed them the Snake's Revenge project under Kojima's nose and they ran with it. For Ultra Games' credit, first off, they did put in the effort to make the sequel, giving the game an opening cutscene, a great chiptune soundtrack, well-designed areas, and pictures in our radio so we know who we're talking to so they don't have to narrate their own names while they're trying to give us really good information that we actually do need. So, the game looks nice, it sounds great, but just like the entrance into the second screen in this game where you are located by security people you couldn't see, the game has a problem with a sticky philosophy to being Nintendo hard. The main gripe with this game is that after you find the rations in the jungle before getting to Chapter 1, is one of only 2 times in this game where you'll find these incredibly rare health items just out in the open. The only way to find these things in the middle of rank 1 and rank 6 is to punch enemies and hope they just drop these things. The scarcity of health makes the first 3 bosses more difficult, making the first boss actually somewhat impossible without at least several rations when you go in there. And when you're in a situation, after getting into an elevator, which according to tradition are retro Metal Gear's save points, and you decide to let the enemies kill you just because you have no rations and just gotta save, that's when you know you damn well fucked up. If Ultra had just fixed that one issue of health scarcity and maybe added another 7 ration drops around this game, it would have been immensely more enjoyable instead of feeling like a hectic psychological horror game, fearing that this game's horrible perspective and where you're punching will actually alert the entire base and have you back to the wall with a dozen guys coming to gun rape you. Meanwhile, you would get to appreciate the layout of this game even more, which I think is well done, and why, if you are going to put rations anywhere, you need to put one in every chapter of this game, because Ultra Games decided to go with a linear chapter-based adventure, starting at the jungle base and then segueing to a cargo ship before being dropped in a train yard, which took you to another base, followed by another 2 buildings, and finally the launch pad of Metal Gear 2. It's an expansive adventure with brilliant art direction that probably hadn't been seen a lot in the NES era. But once again, after exploring everything in this game, the story in it barely makes any sense, and it starts bad enough with the actual title of this game not existing within it, because Solid Snake is going into the terrorist's hideout on orders from the military group that's ordering him to do so, not some part of a vengeful spirit he doesn't have. Even in Metal Gear Solid, the game that supposedly should have been next in the series, he makes it perfectly clear that he understands soldiers are influenced by politics, and friends could become enemies next week if some shit goes down.
I'm just a man who's good at what he does, killing. There's no winning or losing for a mercenary. The only winners in war are the people.
That's right, and you fight for the people.
I've never fought for anyone but myself. I've got no purpose in life, no ultimate goal.
Come on.
It's only when I'm cheating death on the battlefield. The only time I feel truly alive.
The only person with a revenge plotline is Big Boss, and that doesn't get revealed until we actually see him at the end of the game in the freaking castle. This isn't a base, it's a freaking castle. You got guys with purple robes running around here. Come on. The story of this game, and just ignore me having a mini rant at something I thought was really stupid, is that Solid Snake's leader thinks there's something going down with the Metal Gear development rumor, and we have to go in and destroy it if it's there. It's a good thing we didn't end up at the other terrorist base where they were building the infamous Wood Gear, a giant catapult designed to launch midgets at a clown supply shop out of spite. So the entire premise of this game is hinged on a guess, and of course it's gonna be right, there's no game otherwise. But it could have been so much better if the character of the game wasn't solely given to the allied characters and some to the actual terrorists we're supposed to be fighting, so that they feel like we're not fighting one-dimensional paper monsters. Snake's Revenge is a game Ultra Games made after Konami noticed their skill in altering the port they gave to them into something that could have been translated to America easier than something made themselves, so they gave them this license to do so, and they created a Nintendo hard game with great art and sound direction that ultimately wouldn't have excused a game so full of difficulty spawning only from a single problem of never giving the player any goddamn health. And since this is a retro review, it doesn't stand the test of time because any player is within their full right to throw away the game in disgust when they reach the Nagmachon tank battle, because the horrendous difficulty spike lasts for about 80% of the bloody game. Yet, at the very least, the game looks nice. Ultra designed the beginning and the end before getting the middle parts ready, and they did manage to get a lot done in a system running on less than 1 megabyte of information.